Postponed but not canceled. That's how the House Ethics Committee is characterizing a meeting focused on its report on former Congressman Matt Gaetz. That meeting was originally scheduled for today. Now, shortly after President-elect Trump announced Gaetz as his choice to be Attorney General, Gaetz resigned from the House before those findings could be released. The probe centered on allegations Gaetz had sex with an underage girl, he accepted improper gifts, and took illegal drugs. Gaetz has denied any wrongdoing, but there are growing signs from Republican senators and others that his nomination is in serious trouble. NewsNation Joe Khalil live for us on Capitol Hill. Joe, what is the latest you're hearing?
Well, I can tell you the conversation, Nichole, has shifted from whether or not Matt Gaetz has enough support and votes to actually win a nomination in the Senate and shifted more toward this House ethics report that has focused on this 2+ year investigation into whether or not he paid for a minor to cross state lines and have sex with her. Obviously, very serious allegations. The House Committee Ethics report, as we've heard from several people, they say they want to see that report. By the rules of the committee, because he resigned on Wednesday, the report, which was supposed to come out today, has not come out. But we're hearing from Republicans and we're hearing from Democrats, many of whom have said, let's see the report. Just this morning, we got a comment from leader Hakeem Jeffries on this, the Democratic leader, and also several Republicans who we've heard from. One, Congressman Kat Cammack, who talked to us on camera. Take a listen to what both of them had to say.
I think it was Justice Brandeis who once said that sunlight is the best disinfectant in a democracy. Transparency is always the best course of action, particularly when it relates to high-ranking government officials.
I think everybody wants to see what that report says because it will either vindicate Representative Gaetz or not. And so I think for transparency, sure, but I've served with Representative Gaetz and I know him to be a fierce fighter and someone who I would pity to be on the other side of.
So again, you've heard that there. We also know that the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, spoke not so long ago. There are a few, including Politico, reporting now that he says the committee should not release its report, basically because those are the rules of the committee, that once a member retires or is no longer in the House, they are no longer subject to the House Ethics Committee. We don't know what the committee is going to do. Again, that meeting that was postponed, it will happen eventually at some point, and the committee presumably will discuss whether they want to amend their own rules, which is something that happens often here on Capitol Hill. Senate rules and House rules are basically subject to change by the bodies themselves if and when they see fit to do so. So we've seen that happen before. We may see it in this case again. What I can tell you, Nichole, is whether this report is released or not, the senators who are going to ultimately vote on Matt Gaetz to become the Attorney General, they've told me they get classified briefings all the time about members who they have to vote on to be nominees. So if the public doesn't see this report, presumably those senators will see whatever is in there, and they will factor that in when they vote, if they ever vote, on Matt Gaetz to be Donald Trump's nominee for the Attorney General.
All right, so Joe, it is important to note that there was a Justice Department investigation into many of these same allegations against Gaetz, and that ended last year without any charges. What happened with that case?
Yeah, it is important to note he has not faced any criminal charges for these allegations. There had been some reporting that there were some issues with the witnesses in those cases, not that the facts had been wrong, but that there may have been a credibility issue there. We don't want to speculate too much because we have not seen the court documents related to that investigation. But what we can say is that there was a criminal investigation into Matt Gaetz, and ultimately that did not lead to criminal charges. Whether the House Ethics Committee finds something different, we're going to have to see and wait until they make their next move here, Nichole.
All right, Joe Khalil live for us there on Capitol Hill. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.